The thing that's super important to consider when planning for 2024 is to identify and address any glaring gaps in your practice that could actually prevent you from reaching those revenue goals. Okay, so for example, a common gap for professionals that we see very often is an outdated online presence that's not reaching enough people and not communicating the value of their services. So, your online presence is often the first impression potential clients have of your practice. I'm Sylvia Garibaldi, founder and CEO of a well established marketing training and done for you services company, tailored specifically for the modern legal and financial professional worldwide. While it's taken some trial and error to figure out which methods get the best results for professionals who are looking to grow their practices, fast forward to today, my team and I have nailed down and perfected a process that has helped so many of our clients consistently achieve outstanding results and create a legacy for their practices. I created the Serve First, Sell Later marketing podcast to give you simple, actionable, non-salesy, and results-driven marketing to grow your legal or financial practice like so many of our clients have. If you're a lawyer, mediator, financial, or divorce professional who is looking to become highly visible and wants to create a practice that makes an impact, then you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome to episode number 2 of the Serve First, Sell Later marketing podcast. Okay, today's topic really excites me. We're going to take a deep dive into marketing strategy planning for the upcoming year 2024. So make no mistake about it, now more than ever, the coming year will demand a much more proactive approach to marketing your legal and financial practice. And you'll need to double down on your efforts to really stand out and drive new business. We're going to be looking back at what worked and what didn't work in your 2023 marketing efforts. We're going to set a revenue goal for 2024, and we're going to actually reverse engineer it so that you can figure out how much marketing effort needs to go in order to reach it, and most importantly, doing it in a way that doesn't feel overwhelming. This episode is packed with insights and practical tips to help you succeed. So grab your notebook, settle in, and let's get started on making 2024 your best year yet. So it's really important to understand that reviewing past marketing efforts can really help you assess those needle movers in your practice. So by looking back at what worked and what didn't work, we can learn valuable lessons and make informed decisions about the future. So if you go back to your calendar and start looking at your previous marketing efforts, for example, did you do an in-person or online presentations? Or maybe you sponsored events and organizations, or perhaps you engaged in paid ads, or maybe even created social media content. Perhaps you were a guest on a podcast, or maybe you had your own podcast. So go back and assess each of your marketing activities and ask yourself how much time or setup was necessary to accomplish it successfully? What expenses were incurred and what were the outcomes? Did it create awareness? Did it bring in new business? Did it create repeat business? So I hope you see where I'm going with this. Look at those activities and write down the impact that each have had from a revenue, from a complexity, from an impact, and a time perspective. Those are the key areas I want you to assess. And so what are the positive impacts that these activities have made? So was it more revenue? Was it less complex to implement? Did it allow you to sell more of your services? Take a look at whether you were able to generate referral partners. So next is, how can you add fuel to make it even better? So you've discovered the needle movers in your practice, and now it's like, we need to repeat this, we need to schedule it in. And so what I'd like you to think about is, rather than jumping and looking for the next best marketing tool or strategy to generate more awareness and more business, I want you to look at how you can add more fuel on those identified needle movers. But what if we took what you know worked well in 2023 and replicated it or added more fuel to it? What if you could stop doing some other things in your practice and put more assets, more energy, more effort, more time into these needle movers? What would happen? How can you add more value? So stop at any moment and write this down. I think this will be really helpful to do that. Okay, from here, you're going to want to schedule these activities into your calendar for the year ahead. Even if you're not sure of when you want to do them again, just schedule them in as a placeholder and make a commitment to it. So you've identified what you want to keep or do again in 2024. And, you're really assessing what didn't work and why. And so this is important. Why didn't something work? Was it because you didn't put enough time into it? Was it because you didn't have the right processes in place? Was it the wrong timing? So really get honest here and think about how the activity might just need to be tweaked or changed slightly and rebuild it and test it out. Now, if you've determined it's a definite no, this didn't work, I'm not going to implement this again, then just be sure to remove it from your marketing in 2024. Why repeat something that didn't work? Sounds simple, but is often overlooked by many professionals. So, when doing your marketing planning, I'd like you to assess all those activities that worked well. Let's put fuel on them. Let's improve them. Let's do more of them. And then those activities that didn't work so well, assess whether you want to do them again. And perhaps maybe you have to tweak them, or perhaps you've just made the decision it's time to just remove it and not implement it again in 2024. So instead of envisioning a revenue goal, this method really breaks down that the end goal needs to be put into actionable steps. So how do we do that? So basically, this works in a way that your revenue goal becomes a destination that we work back from. So how many services do you need to sell to reach that goal? What pricing structure will get you there? So by deconstructing your goal into manageable incremental milestones, the path forward becomes clearer and more achievable. So I want to share an example just to kind of help you figure out how to do this and how to reverse engineer this. So let's take an example. Your target is to earn $200,000 in 2024. So as a professional, let's assume that maybe you sell different services. You don't just sell one service, you have more than one service that you sell. And let's consider that you actually sell two types of services. One package or service is basically for basic cases, and perhaps you charge $5,000 for your basic case, and maybe your complex cases at $10,000 each. So for instance, to reach this goal, you might need to secure 20 clients for the basic cases at $5,000 each and 10 clients for the complex cases at $10,000 each. So basically that totals 30 clients. So it will take you 30 clients to hit your revenue number of 200,000. I hope that's making sense. All I've done is I've taken a number and we have reverse engineered it to figure out how many types of services and how many clients will you need to reach in order to hit that $200,000 target. Just an example, but I'd love for you to figure that out for your practice. So I'd like to take some time now on how to plan and strategize to achieve this specific number of clients and revenue. So if we were taking this as an example, the very first place that I would start to reach this revenue number is to leverage a very key social media platform that is free to use and is incredibly effective. You've probably guessed it, it's LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has become a non-negotiable tool for professionals just like us. So let's start with the importance of consistent posting on LinkedIn. We know a lot of professionals are making a huge mistake when they don't post consistently on LinkedIn. And so really, by regularly sharing valuable content, you can increase your visibility and engagement. And you can do this by sharing industry insights, case studies, personal stories that really resonate with your audience. Here's the thing to remember. The more you post, the more likely potential clients are to see your content and consider your services. And remember that your next post could even attract, not only potential clients, but, could even catch the eye of a conference organizer looking for a speaker. It could attract your next referral partner. So really, when starting out with posting, aim for consistency. And we always like to tell our clients, start small, start with 3 posts a week consistently. And over time, you're going to want to build it up to 5 posts a week. The other important element to leverage LinkedIn in order to help you reach those revenue goals is really to think about expanding your network on LinkedIn. Super important. So do searches inside of LinkedIn to find your ideal prospects and referral partners. Engage in this every single week and watch your network grow, and watch how you will have a new set of eyeballs on your content and more people for you to actually communicate with and start building relationships with. Now, I want to touch on the best practices and features of LinkedIn that you should really be leveraging. Many of you have heard about optimizing your LinkedIn profile. That's pretty much foundational. And, it's super important to help you build your personal brand on LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that you have a professional profile picture and a compelling headline. You want to add a detailed description of your services, list out all the relevant skills that you have, and really remember that your LinkedIn profile is often the first impression potential clients have of you. So really make it count. Think about joining relevant groups on LinkedIn and engage with other professionals in your industry. And this can really help you stay up to date with the latest trends and build valuable connections. So when you're reaching out to potential clients and referral partners, I always like to say it's important to personalize your messages. Like, nobody likes receiving generic copy-pasted messages, right? I'm sure you don't. So show that you've taken the time to learn about the person you're connecting with and explain why you think they might be interested in collaborating with you, or perhaps they might be interested in your services. I know our clients have had so much success with this, and it's not unusual for our clients to book several meetings a week just using this strategy. So please do not underestimate it. Looking at collaborations and partnerships are another fantastic way to expand your reach and increase sales potential. So, for example, if you're a divorce lawyer, you might consider partnering with a divorce financial planner to offer comprehensive services to your clients. And so when approaching potential partners, really be clear about the value that you offer and what you hope to gain from the collaboration so that you can really take full advantage of LinkedIn's potential here. One of the powerful tools that I like to always talk about on LinkedIn is that you want to consider implementing the newsletter feature. And that really allows you to share in-depth insights on a regular basis with your audience and those who subscribe to it, as well as the LinkedIn algorithm really helps push it out to your subscribers. And so if you want to see how it works, check out my LinkedIn newsletter and subscribe to it. I'll put the link to my newsletter in the show notes so you can see how it works. But it really is a powerful tool for you to engage and connect with those folks that are most interested in your content. And it really leverages LinkedIn's superpower of pushing it through their system so that your subscribers always get a reminder that the newsletter is in their inbox. The other tool that's interesting, and I think is something that you should consider using on LinkedIn, is the video feature. Whether it's live or pre-recorded, it's another feature that you should be leveraging. And really, it just helps to humanize your brand and engage your audience in a really more personal way. So LinkedIn also has features like audio rooms, which provide an excellent venue for engagement with the audience, being able to participate and ask questions. So that's super cool. And then finally, LinkedIn pages are really underutilized by service-based professionals. And I highly recommend you look into how you can put your company onto LinkedIn utilizing the LinkedIn company pages. And what it does is it allows you to showcase your company's purpose, your values, your culture, and your offerings. So make sure that you set up your company page on LinkedIn for your practice. In fact, what I think I'll do is I will add a link in the show notes for you so that you have a step-by-step instruction to use on how to actually set up your own company page if you haven't already done so. So, LinkedIn really offers a wealth of features that can help you grow your practice. And by leveraging these features, you can build a super strong personal brand, engage your audience, and expand your network. So, setting revenue goals is really a cornerstone for any legal or financial professional. And it's so much more than just numbers. It's a reflection of the value provided to clients. And so one key aspect often overlooked in this is the pursuit of the fee structure. So, should fees be increased? Should the payment model shift from hourly to flat fee packages? Let's dive in. So when considering this, you need to look at your offerings. So evaluate your services, your expertise, and the unique solutions that you bring to the table. And so if you find that your fees don't align with the value provided, then it might be time for an adjustment. So increasing fees isn't just about inflating numbers, it's about fair compensation for the expertise and results delivered. So when looking at a fee structure, so, for example, billing hourly might have been the norm, but it might not be the most efficient one for your practice or your clients. So, think about the predictability it offers both parties. A flat fee package can really provide clarity and transparency. I know clients really appreciate knowing the total cost up front without worrying about additional charges. So, as a professional, this structure allows you to focus on delivering value without the constraints of hourly billing. So, I hope that makes sense. And really, a flat fee model encourages efficiency. So, when you're not tracking every minute, you can actually concentrate on the quality of the work rather than the quantity of hours. And it's really a win win situation where both you and your clients benefit. So, the key with a flat fee package is to ensure that you're allocating a buffer for yourself so that in the event that you have to put in more hours to accomplish the tasks for the client, it will ensure that you are compensated because you've added in that buffer. So, this might involve bundling services or offering different tiers based on the complexity of the work. However, equally important is how you actually communicate the flat fee package. So both of these have been used many times over with our clients, and they've experienced a very quick win to reaching those revenue goals just by engaging in the pricing model. Now, a flat fee package might not be right for you at this moment, and that's totally okay. But look at your fees and decide whether it's time to increase them. So remember, it's not just about setting fees and structures, it's about continuously reviewing and adapting. So monitoring the market trends, revisiting your fee structure periodically, and making adjustments as you really feel needed. So what works today might not be the best approach for tomorrow. So I just wanted to put that out there for you to consider that when creating your marketing planning for 2024. Okay. The next thing that's super important to consider when planning for 2024 is to identify and address any glaring gaps in your practice that could actually prevent you from reaching those revenue goals. Okay. So, for example, a common gap for professionals that we see very often is an outdated online presence that's not reaching enough people and not communicating the value of their services. So your online presence is often the first impression potential clients have of your practice, and an outdated website or a lack of engagement across your platforms can be a substantial obstacle. So how can you fix this common gap? Well, first off, I think it's important to imagine a scenario where perhaps a legal firm has a website that looks like it's stuck in the early 2000s. The design could feel antiquated, information is outdated, and the user experience is subpar. Okay. Or maybe you're a financial advisor and you have social media profiles that you have very rarely posted on and you don't engage with your audience. When someone looks at your profile, they're going to see that. They're going to see that this person is not active, that they haven't shared their thought leadership. These are all important things that referral partners and potential clients are looking for. So, this lack of an engaging online presence can obviously lead to missed opportunities, and clients seeking services, they might not trust or feel compelled to engage with a practice that appears disconnected or behind the times digitally. I hope this is resonating with you. So consider that modern clients expect a certain level of professionalism and accessibility. And, whether you have an engaging, up-to-date website that, perhaps has a user-friendly navigation, it can actually help instill confidence in potential clients. So don't underestimate it. Likewise, active and engaging social media platforms, they actually showcase expertise, knowledge, they build trust, and more importantly, they attract new clients when done consistently. It truly is a superpower if you engage it, if you use the process and you use it consistently. So let's look at the strategies to close this gap. As I talked about, you may have to revamp your website. You may have to engage and create a more up-to-date social media profile that includes engagement, demonstrates your thought leadership, and of course, look at creating some kind of social media content calendar to ensure that you have consistent and meaningful posts that really help you engage with your audience by responding to comments and messages promptly. Now, if you want to figure out what type of content and how to figure out what content to talk about, go back to episode 1 where I share all about how you can actually create valuable content. So lastly, on this topic, engaging online presence is really, it's not just about aesthetics, it's about building trust and credibility. And so it's super important. The other glaring gap we see in professional practices is the inattention to the decline in revenue from previous years. So you really need to go back and say, what happened last year? And then identify what created a decline if you've identified that there is a decline. So it could be a decline in changes in the client demand. Was it increased competition? Was it operational inefficiencies? So super important to identify that and figure out what can be contributed to that decline in revenue. And if you're not, particularly sure about it, you can send feedback to clients asking for their opinion. You can send it to peers to help you identify blind spots and opportunities for improvement. So figuring out what caused that decline in revenue in 2023 is going to be super important to help assess and prevent that from happening in 2024. All right. Another important item here is when looking at your 2024 marketing planning is really considering the ability to look at different mediums and strategies that you haven't used in your practice before to help you reach your 2024 goals. And I want to share a couple of them that I think could make a world of difference in helping you hit your revenue goals for 2024. So in today's digital age, the way we consume information is constantly changing. And I think you can agree with that. And as legal and financial professionals, it's crucial to stay ahead of the curve and explore new mediums and strategies that are going to really help your target audience. And the first one is the power of storytelling. So if you haven't used storytelling in your practice, you may want to spend some time on that one. And this strategy has become increasingly popular in recent years because it's a great way to convey complex legal and financial information. So the world that you work in is challenging for most people to understand. And I think by sharing real life examples and case studies, you can actually make your content more engaging and easier for your audience to understand. And when they understand, they're more interested in buying from you. So I always like to use the expression, a confused buyer never buys. So super important to use the power of storytelling and build that into your practice. Another important component of strategies to use in 2024 is the rise of video content. So that's another medium that has exploded in popularity. And so whether it's through webinars, vlogs, or live streams, video content can help you showcase your expertise and really build trust with your audience. In fact, according to a recent study, 85% of businesses use video as a marketing tool. So another component here to think about, or at least consider, is the importance of SEO and digital marketing. So, exploring new mediums is only part of the equation. It's also important to have a solid digital marketing strategy in place to really ensure that your content gets seen by the right people. So, this includes optimizing your website for search engines, creating valuable content, engaging with your audience on social media. So, it's super important to make sure that you build this in. And the last one that I want to ensure that you are building into your marketing planning for 2024 is that you can't do everything on your own. You can't do everything on your own. So, staff augmentation, whether through part time, full time, or maybe even project based staffing, can really provide you with the additional support you need to help you meet those goals for 2024. So, this approach allows you to bring in highly experienced and trained experts to prioritize work based on client requirements, ultimately helping you to deliver high quality results and really help you meet those goals. So, project based staffing is a really flexible solution to help you manage the ebbs and flows of projects and provide teams with the right level of support. It also allows professional practices just like yours, maybe you're a solopreneur, to hire the right talent for what you're working on, and it keeps the business efficient. Super, super important. It also has other benefits like cost savings, access to the best talent and skills, increased ability to focus on the future, and really the flexibility to scale up or down as needed, right? That's the beauty of project-based staffing. And as I said, you can't do it all on your own. So you need to think about whether you can incorporate project based staffing into your practice to help you really build and reach those business goals for 2024. As we wrap up today's episode, it's evident that gearing up for a successful 2024 really requires a meticulous approach to marketing planning in your practice. So, by reflecting on past marketing endeavors, it's not really just a nostalgic exercise. It's a gold mine of insights. So use it wisely, understand what worked and why, scrutinize the impacts on revenue, complexity, and time, and really look at how to make informed decisions about what you have found when you're going back to those needle movers. But I think what really needs to be stressed is that the real magic often lies in amplification. So, what if we were to double down on what we know already worked splendidly in 2023? What could happen, right? Replicating successes and infusing them with added energy could be the breakthrough strategy for you in 2024. So, think about that. Remember to schedule those activities into your calendar. It isn't just a commitment, it's an investment in your practice's growth. And when it comes to what didn't work, honesty is key. Be honest and figure out what didn't work. And if it didn't, how can you tweak it or maybe just get rid of it altogether? So, setting revenue goals is not just about numbers, it's about reverse engineering success. So, think about those exercises, how you can leverage LinkedIn to do that, addressing those glaring gaps in your practice. And don't forget about incorporating storytelling, video content, and robust SEO practices. And of course, smart staffing solutions. All of these things are going to help you elevate your practice's visibility and really help you reach your 2024 revenue goals. So remember, it isn't a one-time checklist. This is an ongoing commitment to continually evolving your practice. So I hope you found this episode valuable. And if you did, please subscribe to the podcast, leave us a review, and share it. Here's to crafting a marketing strategy that doesn't just meet goals, but surpasses them and makes 2024 your best year yet. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, always remember there's no better time to start than today.